We logged in a little early. We're waiting for our attorneys to log in. I'll give a brief explanation here in a moment and then we'll start.
I'm back.
Afternoon, thank you. We're live.
All right. I gotta fix my dual screen.
We have LG Stylo 5, a nice shot of the driveway. Classic shot of the parking lot off Route 595.
Let me set my laptop.
This might be, I'm not sure who this is. Did you have a chance to look at that Blades case?
No, I had to get my VPN set up because this laptop hasn't been used at this office yet. So, all right. So I'm looking.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Are you Jonathan Chilcote?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Let me give you a name here. Your lawyer is just logging in.
Okay.
Turn the recorder on. Good afternoon, Mr. George.
Good afternoon, Judge. How you doing?
Good. Debbie is here with us, ready to start the last trials. We're live. If you give me just a moment to get everything set up. We're about to do what's called last pretrials before jury. Everybody that's charged with a misdemeanor offense and pleads not guilty has a right to have a jury trial. And we have one last pretrial conference before that, and very often cases are settled at that time. So that's what we're about to do here this afternoon.
Tim, does Mr. Blades have his license back now?
Tim doesn't even know about Mr. Blades yet.
Oh,
Your
You wouldn't
client,
know.
Tyler Blades, got picked up. He failed to appear for an attorney pretrial for Judge Pattison. His file number is 201987. I knew you were going to be here, so I'm going to have the jail bring him up, and when we finish some of these, we'll address him. I appreciate that, but yeah, you didn't have any notice of it. But he's sitting in jail, so you're here and we're here, so we'll address him in a moment. Let's start with Mr. Jonathan Dean Chilcote. Mr. Chilcote, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
The way you're seated, you look like one of those interviews they do on TV where they black out the person's face, and
Sorry.
you have the window behind you.
I couldn't hear you in the garage. I'll pull this chair out.
All right. This is file 202671. Your attorney, Mr. Tim George, is here with us. You're charged with domestic violence, second offense. The allegation is that on or about December 11th, you assaulted Shanna Calhoun, a resident or former resident of your household. That is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Your lawyer, Mr. Timothy George, is here with us, as well as Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Deborah Davis. Ms. Davis, I can't tell from the pleadings where his prior offense was, and I couldn't find it.
let me look here.
Lost my pen cap.
The internet's slightly faster than it was at my house. Let's see.
Debbie's been having technical problems today, working remotely. Mr. George, as I understand it, the offer is a plea to domestic violence first offense, but I don't know whether that's a real offer.
Yeah, his domestic that he pled guilty to was 8/5 of 2015 in Branch County.
Oh, Branch County.
Yes. He had a
Says
couple that were
when-
dismissed prior.
All right. So there's alleged to have been a prior in Branch County. They're offering to dismiss the prior offense for a plea to domestic violence first offense. If I do accept a plea, I would not do a sentence today because I would want to get more information. Who's with you there on the feed?
That's my fiance, Noel.
All right, thank you. Mr. George, have you had an opportunity to discuss this with your client?
I have, Your Honor, and this is the same offer that we had before, which was rejected. We would ask that this be set for a jury trial.
Mr. Blades, you're welcome into the feed here. We'll be with you in just a moment. All right, Mr. Chilcote, are you still at your same address, lot 79?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm currently in a move as well.
Now, if you do move, please let Mr. George know where you're moving to, so
Yep.
we don't lose contact with you. Ms. Davis, who do you have for witnesses?
Your Honor, we have Deputy Michael McCoy, Shanna Calhoun, Noel Hollister, McKenna Calhoun, Cheryl Horrell.
Slow down.
Dude, Cheryl Horrell was not there.
All right, well, I didn't, just hold your opinion. And McKenna Calhoun, Cheryl Horrell.
Yes. Riley
How
Calhoun,
do you spell Cheryl?
CHERYL.
Riley Calhoun.
Yes, and it's spelled Rylei. Then we have Susan St. Clair. Julie Mackey, Mackey. And Joanna McKinney.
That's a lot of witnesses for a domestic violence case. Are there photos or 911 recordings or anything else that we should consider?
I believe there was a recording. I don't know if the 911 call is on here.
Are there any medical reports?
I don't believe so.
Casey, thank you for joining us. I'm going to ask for your input also. We've got a Polycom case on a guy named Tyler Blades who did this without any sort of announcement. 201987. Would you take a look at that case also? I think you were handling that. Mr. George, do you have any witnesses while she's looking for that?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd have Miranda Foster. And Stacy Metzger, STACEYMETZGER.
Well, this must have been done in a crowd. Anyone else?
Not at this time, Your Honor, no.
Ms. Davis, any prior acts evidence or other notices?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Chilcote, you've done a good job of appearing at every hearing. I don't believe you've missed anything. As far as I can tell, you're complying with the terms of your bond, which include no contact with the complaining witness. If it were otherwise, I probably would have heard about it by now. I've said this a lot here recently, but we are having trouble scheduling jury trials because we can't presently bring a group of people into a small room and put them together. Although I did see that just yesterday and the day before, they tried a misdemeanor jury trial in Kalamazoo County. So there are people that are doing it. We've yet to do it. So it may be some time before this matter can be tried before a jury. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
Your Honor, I have one.
Okay.
My client currently works in Grand Rapids, and due to the no contact provision, he's essentially staying in Grand Rapids. And obviously with what the court just indicated, we don't really have a timetable for when a jury trial would be. So we'd like to request a hearing date. I'm going to file a motion asking that the bond be amended and the no contact order be lifted so that he can stay at home.
And is she there?
Yes, off and on, yes.
So he's got a fiance and who is Shauna Calhoun to him?
It's one of the children.
Oh, I see.
One of my children.
And she lives with your ex-wife?
It's his fiance's daughter.
All right. Well, certainly I will entertain it, but it's very complicated when you've got no contact provisions of members of the same household. Now, we could solve this by trying a jury trial within the next month, bench trial. But it's going to be months and months before we can have a jury trial. So I will note defendant will file a motion to amend bond.
And Your Honor, do you want me to just contact your office for a date and file a notice of hearing with that?
Just file the motion and then we'll find a date.
Okay.
Can I get a number for the child? Not on the feed, but Tim, can you get a number for the
My
daughter
understanding is
from-
that the child was at the office last week and spoke with the Victims' Rights Department.
The only thing I see is that mom had come in or had talked to Marissa.
I can
So I'll
ask,
check.
I can ask mom to touch base with your office.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, I wish it weren't so. I wish I could give you a jury trial next Wednesday, but I can't. So, all right, stay in contact with your attorney. Don't otherwise violate your bond. Do you ever go out of state for work?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then you should be fine. All right, do
Not
you have any
as of
questions?
right now, anyways. If something was to come up, I would make contact.
All right, very
All right.
good. You're free to go.
Okay, thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you. Now, I brought up, because the file was laid on my desk, Tyler James Blades, 201987. Mr. Blades is presently in custody in the St. Joseph County Jail. Mr. Tim George is his attorney, and I think he's getting the file right now. This was a Judge Pattison file, and Judge Pattison's not available today. Mr. Blades, you are charged with operating while driving suspended. That's a big difference. Driving suspended, second offense. And that was in September of 2020, on September 5th. You were in the Allegan County Court on September 2nd for driving suspended. And 3 days later, you got charged with driving suspended, second offense here. You reside in Kalamazoo. You missed your first court date and we reset it. We set an attorney pretrial for October 16th with Attorney George, and you did not appear. We issued a bench warrant for your arrest in October. We waited a while to see if you made any contact. I think the bench warrant issued later in October. We sent you a letter, no response. You called yesterday inquiring about a warrant. Did you turn yourself in at the jail?
Yeah,
All right, so you came down here to Centerville and turned yourself in on the warrant?
yes, sir.
All right, well, that's helpful. The original offer was, I think, driving suspended first. Is that correct, Casey?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Blades, driving suspended second offense is a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. Your license is suspended a couple of different ways. You had some convictions which resulted in it being suspended. Then you got some unpaid fines and costs in Allegan County, and you had a previous driving suspended in Allegan County. So it's charged as a second offense. The prosecutors agreed to reduce it to a first offense. Driving suspended first offense is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It does carry a suspension. Now, it was fortunate, your lawyer, Mr. George, was scheduled to be here on another matter, so I had you brought up here. Mr. George, would like an opportunity to talk to your client in the breakout room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I
Mr.
am
George.
impressed, but
If
Yes, Ms.
you
Davis.
could find out what the status is of his license, it looks like he was a potential to get it back as of the end of October. So if you could give us an update on that, that would be helpful.
Yep, I intended
Well-
to speak with him about that.
the driving record that I have was run on
Mine's back from September 29th.
I was trying to see, I thought it was the 26th. September 8th is when mine was run. So if he's paid off Allegan, we can run a new driving record. Samantha, I'm gonna bug you again. Would you run me a new driving record, a current driving record for Tyler James Blades? He's our Polycom. Mr. Blades, I'm going to put you in a room and you can talk privately with your lawyer, Mr. George.
Okay.
apparently you did take this seriously by coming down here and turning yourself in. You didn't drive here.
Yes, I got dropped off.
Somebody dropped you off?
Yeah. It's supposed to help me with my bond if I had that option, but, you
All right,
know.
we'll find out here in a minute. We have someone in here listed as student observer. I let them in. They're muted and blocked. I believe they're from a law firm in New Jersey. And I've asked them to unmute. And for the time being, I'll just leave them where they are. Our next pretrial is Folks. I don't think he's in custody, is he? Just checked this yesterday. No, he's not. But that worked out well that Tim was available. I didn't try to go to the public defender, although I didn't give him a lot of notice, but I think we can accomplish what we need to.
I just put it in on base.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
They're so smart. Check out his new driving record while we wait. Oh, this is those new format driving records. I don't know, Deborah, if you've
I
had
have
a
not
chance to.
seen one yet, so this could be
They're-
my first chance here.
Don't like it.
No. Casey, you're not old enough to be a dinosaur. Jeanette and I were, but we've been looking at them other ways for 40 years, and now they're. It does appear that he paid his reinstatement fee on August 12th. He fixed his Allegan County failed to pay citations on one he fixed in January and two he fixed yesterday, 4/24. Wait a minute, termination FAC. Yes, I believe he cleared those. So I think, I don't know how to share this with you guys from OnBase.
If you go, like, right click on the document, it should say send to, and then you can put mail recipient.
All right, I'll send it. I'm not supposed to do this. Under penalty of sieges, I think they're called. So I can read it to you. And it appears that he paid it. But he does have the other baggage on there that you saw, but the Allegan County cases appear to have been, looks like he paid everything in January, then paid some yesterday, then came down and turned himself in. So he's certainly going in the right direction. No sign of Mr. Folks yet. See if I have a number for him. Call him up. That's about par for the course. Tim, I was trying to call your client Nathan Folks, who has failed to appear. We'll deal with him in a moment. We're back with Mr. Blades, file number 201987. Tim, the staff ran a new driving record. Maybe your client can confirm this. It appeared to me he paid some of those Allegan County cases in January, and he cleared the other two yesterday. So it looks like he paid the unpaid tickets in Allegan and then came and turned himself in down here, which is encouraging. Is that what you understand?
And I also understand that he actually paid the no proof of insurance citation in this case yesterday before he turned himself in as well.
All right.
But my understanding, Your Honor, is that those tickets were what the suspensions were derived from. I don't know.
I believe so. Now, well, yes and no. He got a driving suspended on September 2nd, and then he got stopped here on September 5th. He got stop driving suspended on March 3rd. He pled on September 2nd. So he got pulled over here on September 5th. And it's possible he wasn't suspended until September 20th. So he, as absurd as this sounds, he was suspended for some unpaid tickets, but the suspension from the Allegan County case had not yet hit. He got convicted on the 2nd. Secretary of State didn't start the conviction to run until September 20th. So he was suspended for unpaid tickets. Now he's paid the tickets. Mr. Johnson or Ms. Davis, does that affect any aspect of the offer?
Your Honor, under the circumstances, I would offer him and allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code.
All right, did you discuss that with him, Mr. George?
Your Honor, I did discuss that if those ticket payments were verified, that the offer likely would be reduced. And obviously the allowing has no points and doesn't abstract on his license. So my understanding is my client would be inclined to take that.
All right, let me explain, Mr. Blades. The case you're charged with carries a 1-year maximum sentence and $1,000 maximum fine, 2 points and a suspension. The prosecutor has agreed to reduce those. You did what everybody should do. You did what you should have done in the first place, but yesterday you took care of all of your outstanding tickets. You came down, faced the music, turned yourself in at the jail, and here you are. And that's the way to deal with one of these problems head on. So the prosecutor is giving you a substantial early birthday present and dismissing that charge. The charge that's left is called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. As Mr. George just said, it carries no points, doesn't get abstracted to your license. If you've otherwise got your license back, it won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your driving privileges. However, it is a misdemeanor, and it is punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. I don't know that I've ever put anybody in, I know I've never put anybody in jail for 90 days. There may have been people that have done some jail, like you, because they were already there. Are you willing to plead to that lesser charge?
Yes.
Other than what I said here, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No.
Or threaten you?
No.
Were you driving a car on September 5th here in St. Joe County?
Yes.
Where were you going?
See my uncle. He lives in Indiana.
All right, you have to go from there to here to get to Indiana. You have to pass through St. Joseph County. Why didn't you show up for court?
I was in between jobs and I had a lot on my plate at the time. I just didn't think about it, and by the time I realized it, it was too late. So I just waited for the warrants to pop up.
Well, then you did what you needed to do, so I got to give you some credit for that. I'm going to give you 1 day in jail credit for 1 day. But then I'm going to give you the normal fine for this, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $75 fine, a $50 state minimum fee, and a $150 attorney fee. We happen to make this work out for Mr. George. That's $350. That's quite a bit of money. You just paid a bunch. All right, I'm going to give you until May 1. Or 4 days in jail. Now, the goal isn't to put you in jail. The goal is to get the fine paid. So if you can't pay the fine, I want you to contact the court. Are you still on the Fenimore Avenue address?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want you to pay this. The matter will be over and done with. It won't go on your driving record. I'm not sure there's not some lingering suspension from Allegan County. But if you're otherwise valid, this won't. All right, then you may be good to go.
Thank you.
All right, good luck, sir.
You too.
All right, thank you, Tim. Now let's take care of folks, and then we'll let you get on your way.
Your Honor, I need to step away. I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Ms. Davis.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
I'm glad you
Casey.
were there to help on that one. Okay, Nathan Nicholas Folks is charged with domestic violence in file 202152. He has a couple of felony cases bound over to the circuit court, and he's not presently in our custody, and he's not here today. I tried to call the number that I had. Let me look and see if I can see what his status is in circuit court. It'll take me a minute to switch screens. Mr. George, have you had any contact with him?
I've had pretty good contact with Nathan. He reaches out to me generally in advance of his hearings. So I'm a little surprised he's not here.
Ours is listed as a bench warrant and on base, but I don't know if that's.
Let's see. Yeah, he's off the reserve. Order show cause returned. He's also failed to appear in circuit court. Looks like there are warrants in the offing. I'm not going to do a show cause. I'm just going to issue a bench warrant on $1,000. See judge. They tried a show cause in circuit court and he did not appear. He failed to appear. They tried a show cause. He didn't appear for that. Um, And he has a status conference not set till May. He has a surety bond. I'm not sure where he is, Mr. George, but if you can, he may also be on probation. No, I guess not. Anyway, he isn't here, and this is a domestic violence, and he failed to appear for show causes in circuit court. So if you do contact him, let me know and we'll proceed accordingly. All right, thank you. That finishes your day?
Yes, it does, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we have Jordan of Yancey and we have Zachary Keisling. This is file 202085, People versus Zachary Thad Keisling. Is that you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your lawyer, Jordan Yancey, is here with me. You and I have met before. You're charged with assault and battery upon Austin Eby and malicious destruction of personal property less than $200. I believe Mr. Eby was your stepson. I can't remember what the relationship was. It appears the prosecutor has agreed to dismiss the assault and battery charge for a plea to malicious destruction of property less than $200. Those are both misdemeanors punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Property damaged was his bicycle. Ms. Yancey, have you had a chance to discuss that with the defendant?
Your Honor, I received that offer, I believe yesterday from Prosecutor Johnson. I did call Mr. Keisling. His phone was off and doesn't have voicemail, so I sent him an email. I'm unsure if he received that email. I haven't heard from him.
Do you wish to speak to him in the breakout room?
I can do that, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Give me a minute. I'm not very good at multiple breakout rooms. When I try to do them, I get in trouble, so I'll shut some down. Mr. Keisling, I'm going to put you in a private space where you can discuss that plea offer with your attorney. Malicious destruction of property is not an assaultive crime. As I said, it's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. I don't believe we have anybody else we need from the jail. So Debbie, I'm going to close the Polycom room because Judge Stutzman might need it. Oh, I may be the only judge here today. I didn't see any activity in circuit court. Do I need to adjourn that for victim input?
I don't believe so. If he pleads to the MDOP, we've spoken with the victim.
All right, let me
There's just a
bring in,
restitution amount of $193.12.
I'm going to bring in Galaxy S10. They're in the Chevrolet S10 Galaxy. Good afternoon. Could you unmute your phone?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Are you Mandy Gregg?
Yes.
All right, this is Judge Middleton. Let me give you a name. And I'm going to put you in the waiting room. We're working on another case right now. We'll be with your case in just a moment.
Okay.
All right, thank you for logging in. I'll put you in the waiting room and be with you in just a moment.
Thank you.
Oh. There are no ordinance cases today, Deborah. All of them are yours.
Very lucky.
Here's Jordan. Let me bring Mr. Keisling back. There we go. All right, we let the record run. We've been sitting here waiting while the parties discussed it. Mr. Keisling is back. We return to file 202631 with Ms. Yancey. A plea offer is MDOP. Restitution figure, Ms. Yancey, was given to me by the prosecutor, $193.12. What does your client wish to do?
Your Honor, I relayed the offer to my client indicating that in exchange for a plea, the assault and battery would be dismissed with an agreement to pay restitution. He indicates that he wants to reject that offer and would ask that the matter be set for a bench trial.
All right. Mr. Keisling, you have a right to have a trial by a jury. You also have the right to a trial in front of a judge, either Judge Pattison or me. It's a sort of a random draw. And we could accomplish that in relatively short order. we do our business all the time. If we have a trial, it will be by Zoom like this. So are you willing to waive your right to have a trial by jury and have this matter trialed before a judge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Appreciate your confidence. I'm going to set a bench trial. I don't know the date right now. We'll work on one, and I will give you that. Are you still at the, wait a minute, are you still at the Sevison Road address?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you got good contact with your lawyer. You need to stay in a little better contact. Who do you have for witnesses, Deborah?
Your Honor, we have Austin Eby, Officer Nathan Johnson, Tony Swope, the keeper of the records for the video, which I believe is from Walmart. I'll get a name for that. And Sergeant Jeremy Marsh. And there's
Tony
a worker.
Swope. Tony Swope is not the keeper of the records. Tony Swope is a witness.
Yes.
How do you spell Swope? We have a Swope, just W-O-A-P.
SWOPE. And then for the restitution amount, there's a customer service worker that assisted. So let me get the name. Renee Willie, W-I-L-L-E-Y.
Ms. Yancey, are there any witnesses you wish to call?
Not at this time, Your Honor. If that is changed, I will get a witness list filed promptly. I would like the record to reflect that I did receive the video. I can't tell if it's from, I think it's from the Meyer and Sturgis, but it could be the Walmart. I did receive that video this week. I had some issues running it on the application that it runs on, but I was able to get it working this morning, and I did briefly view it, and I know my client wants to view it. So if there's any changes after he and I view the video together, I will let the court know timely.
And you're right. I believe it is the Meyer video because it shows the Dollar Tree parking lot. So it's on the opposite side. So it's the Meyer keeper of the records.
Like Meyer.
So it happened at Walmart, but it's picked up on the Meyer video, or it happened at Meyer?
No, the Walmart issue is the restitution. That's where the victim had gotten his belongings from. But the video, it happened in the Meyer parking lot.
All right. Mr. Keisling, do you have any questions?
No, not this time, Your Honor.
All right. Stay in contact with your lawyer. You did a good job of logging in a timely manner. I could see you and hear you. You need to stay in better contact with your lawyer, but we'll see where this goes as things develop. But right now I'm going to be setting it for a bench trial on probably a Wednesday morning. All right. We'll let you know that date. You're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Mandy, Gregg. This is file 202631. Good afternoon. Are you Mandy Marie Gregg?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gregg, you're charged with domestic violence second offense. The allegation is that on or about my birthday, you assaulted Tristan Hilton last year, and that's a second or subsequent offense. That's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. If I understand correctly, Ms. Davis, the prosecutor has agreed to dismiss that charge?
Your Honor, the dismissal is premised on the fact that the complaining witness is refusing to cooperate. So yes, we are dismissing.
Prosecution moves to dismiss. All right, even though the principal charge is being dismissed, Ms. Gregg, you were under bond conditions that you were not to have any contact with Tristan Hilton. And that may be part of the reason why he's not cooperative. I don't know. But there's an allegation that you violated the no contact provision of your bond. And that was set for hearing today also. The Sturgis Police submitted a report that you were in violation of the condition of your bond on March 5th by having contact with Mr. Hilton. You could be found in contempt, and for criminal contempt punished by up to 90 days in jail. I inquired from the prosecutor how they wanted me to proceed with this. Ms. Davis, how do you wish to proceed on the bond violation?
Well, Your Honor, because she was on bond, there was what we believe to be multiple bond violations, one of which was directly witnessed by Officer Adam Kreitz of the Sturgis Police Department. We would ask that there be some sort of contempt sanction to her. Again, it's difficult when we have a domestic violence case and the complaining witness doesn't want to cooperate, but it certainly raises questions about why they're not cooperating if the victim and the defendant are living in the same house and having contact when they're not supposed to. So if she's going to admit to the violation, I would ask for some sanction. And if she's going to deny it, I suppose we could set it for a hearing and bring in the officer.
Jordan, do you wish to talk to her about that?
I do, Your Honor. I got notice yesterday that it was even set for a bond violation after I was told that it was being dismissed. I don't have a report, so I'm not sure the extent of the allegations, but I would like to talk to Ms. Gregg.
Deborah, I didn't realize she didn't have, could you forward that report to Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan, I'll email you that report.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to put you in a separate room so you can talk to your attorney. We often see this where the defendant continues to contact the complaining witness. Frankly, more often it's gender reversed than what this is. The men are contacting the female complainants, promising they're never going to do it again, or telling them they're sorry and pleading with them or threatening them not to testify. It's an interference with the process, and it puts people in danger. And I'm not sure what the exact status is here, but when we set these no contact provisions, we're serious about it. So let's see how we wish to proceed. All right. Debbie, let me take these files out, and I will be back. In a minute.
Jordan, I'm sorry. I had to go through a bunch of reports to find it, but
Okay.
I just sent you the affidavit of probable cause.
Okay, I was hoping that, let me look at it. I was hoping we may need to talk privately, Debbie. Just briefly.
All right, well, let me bring her back and then I'll send you guys out. And, takes 59 seconds, 60 seconds to close the room. And if the people don't just log out, there we go. All right, Miss Gregg, welcome back. I'm going to put you in the waiting room
Okay.
while your lawyer and the prosecutor talk privately.
Do I-
All right, let's go back to the breakout room. All right, I put a time limit on here of 47 hours. So you have to finish within that amount of time.
Sounds good.
I don't think we will.
Okay, I'll see you Saturday. We've still got a student observer who's muted in the feed and haven't had any input, so we'll just leave that where it is. Welcome back.
Is that 47 hours?
Give
Felt
or
like
take.
I only wanted to go to
It's-
the breakout room so I could have a snack.
If Annette's still in the waiting room, do you need to speak to her further, Jordan, or?
No.
All right, let's bring her in. All right, we return to the matter of People versus Mandy, Gregg, file 202631. The principal charge of domestic violence second offense has been moved to have been dismissed, which I haven't done yet. But there's an allegation the defendant violated her bond by having contact with a complaining witness in violation of the bond. The attorneys had an opportunity to discuss this. I'll defer to you, Ms. Yancey. Where are we here?
Thank you, Your Honor. I did go over the allegations of the bond violation as far as the contact on March 5th with Tristan Hilton. My client has indicated she will admit to the contact and will advise the court as to the extent of that contact.
Ms. Gregg, did you understand that you were under a bond condition pending further hearing in this matter, that you were not to have contact with Tristan Hilton or go to his house?
Yes.
Did you, according to the bond information report submitted by Officer Kreitz, I'll read it. On Wednesday, March 5th, in the afternoon, I was on duty as a police officer for the city of Sturgis. Contact was made with Mandy Marie Gregg Hilton and Tristan Eric Hilton in regard to their son, Dwayne Joshua. During my contact with Mandy and Tristan, I learned that Mandy is currently on bond that prohibits her from having contact with Tristan due to a recent domestic assault charge. Mandy rode in the same vehicle as Tristan, violating condition 5 of her bond. Later the same evening, Mandy called Central Dispatch from Tristan's residence, which also violated a condition that you were not to be at that residence. So that's the allegation. Were you with him and then later at his home on March 5th?
No, I was at my house. Tristan lives in Indiana.
All right. I think the bond condition says not be at Sunnyfield, so he's not there. But were you in a vehicle with him?
I was, but he was here to pick up my daughter for his weekend.
All right. So what's your explanation?
My son called me, panicked. He said that he was getting beat up, and I could hear him getting beat up. As a matter of fact, I called 911, and Tristan was here to pick up my daughter, Isabel. And when he called and I asked him where he was, he told me where he was. And I jumped in the truck and I said, take me over there. And I had told Officer Gripe, myself and Lieutenant Knapp, that I was not supposed to be with him, that I had bond conditions. And the only reason I was there was because my son was beat up. He had told me that he thought that Dwayne was older than 13. And he had also told me that he was sorry. He had thought that Dwayne was a suspect that was running through town, running from the police, and had just drove through somebody's house.
Well, how did you and Mr. Hilton end up in the same car?
He showed up at my residence to pick my daughter, Isabel, up.
All right. Well, then what happened?
My son called me as Tristan was in the driveway picking up Belle. I don't have a vehicle. I don't drive anyways. And I was on the phone and I told him, I said, oh my gosh, we gotta go. I said, Dwayne's getting beat up. So I jumped in the truck and we went right directly to where my son was.
All right, and your son was quite agitated?
Yes, and he was black and blue and he was bleeding. And the only explanation that the officer could give me was that he thought that he was older. He said, well, he looks older than 13. And I said, yes, sir, but he does not look 18. And he told me that they were looking for a person that fit my son's description that was running through town in a car that had just drove through somebody's house.
Is your son on the autism spectrum?
Yes, he is.
So there are some issues there with how he communicates with people.
He communicates pretty well, but he has sensor issues. He does not like being touched. And I was on the phone with my son because he automatically called me as soon as the police stopped him. And I heard Officer Kreitz grab him and throw him on the hood of the car. And then it was complete chaos. And I've not ever felt more farther away. And I was only a mile maybe down the road from him.
Ms. Davis, what's your position here?
Your Honor, I've reviewed the report of what Officer Kreitz and Lieutenant Knapp stated happened, and nowhere in the report does it mention that she told them that she had bond conditions and that you disclosed that. They didn't know until after she had left the scene. And as far as any injuries on the child, there were none. Both officers looked him over and they didn't have anything to take pictures of because there were none at the scene. So either way.
I also took him to the hospital.
All right, stop. He says in his report, during my contact with Mandy and Tristan, I learned that Mandy is currently on bond, prohibits from having contact.
In the police report itself, it talks about, it was when he was completing his report, he ran their names. So it was after they had already left the scene, he was running their names of all the parties involved. And that's when I discovered that she was actually on bond for domestic assault against the father who was at the scene with her, but they had already left in the vehicle with the child.
All right, well, if that is true, that there was an incident and they went there to deal with it, it's less egregious than it appeared on its face. Let's look at the bond itself.
I believe there are also, the family is involved with the ARC program with Prosecutor Marvin, and it's my understanding that mom and dad were appearing in the same home for the ARC meetings.
We appeared at the Juvenile Detention Center over in Three Rivers under supervision from Colin.
Well, there's nothing that prohibited her from just no contact. So if he lives in Indiana and she's at the Sturgis address, that doesn't appear to be a violation.
I don't have anything regarding whether they asked where they were living, because I don't think the officer realized until after they had left the scene that they were not supposed to be together.
We showed him our IDs.
All right.
Well, both of them are listed on the police report as Sunnyfield Road. So if they showed their IDs, that's where the address came from for the officer, and they both used.
No, ma'am. Tristan's ID is for Indiana, for Bristol, Indiana. He has an Indiana driver's license.
What was the subsequent complaint to 911 about?
I said my son is getting beat up. They asked by who, and I said, well, I don't know. And they asked what.
Just a minute. I lost your lawyer for a moment.
I apologize, Your Honor.
No need. We've had trouble with our internet all over the place here in the last few days.
Yeah.
All right, she was explaining the second call, which had nothing to do with Tristan. I'm not terribly offended by, of course, I don't know exactly what the true story is, but what she tells me is not inconsistent with what's in the police report. There was no assaultive or threatening behavior going on. It was an incident with their son. They went there together to deal with this incident. They were straightforward with the police. It wasn't some secret thing. But the officer did the correct thing and submitted a request. So I find that you're in contempt, but I'm not going to order any additional sanction.
Thank you.
You violated the letter of the order.
We lost Attorney Yancey again.
Something's going on with the Mendon internet connection. But this is the second time you've been charged with domestic violence. That's just very concerning. This matter was dismissed because of the lack of cooperation from the complaining witness, which is always a concern. But I'm not terribly aggrieved by this violation that they've set forward. So you were in contempt, no sanction. Principal charge is dismissed. You and your husband are both in a program. There are issues they're dealing with the children. There's some ongoing involvement of the court system. That'll be sufficient. All right, Ms. Gregg, you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Deborah, are you going to do a nollie press on that, or simply have me just?
I believe that it was requested by Mr. Johnson maybe yesterday, so it should be in process.
All right, Jordan, we don't have another case until 3 o'clock. We had discussed sobriety court for that defendant, and I'm not sure where that's headed. But I don't want to make you guys just sit here, so I'll put you in a waiting room where you can just mute and go on about your business. And then you're done, and then we don't have Melissa's cases until 4, so we've got a couple of built-in time gaps here. I'll see you at or near 3 o'clock.
Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll just turn off my camera and mute, and then I'll wait for you to say that you're ready.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Jordan.
you. Thanks.
Student observer appeared just for a minute on those last hearings. She's secretive.
Well, I just left it there, but we'll probably isn't something we're going to be doing. I gotta sign this. Good afternoon, Mr. Hoffman.
Sorry, I was muted. If you can hear me.
You're fine. You're a bit early. Your lawyer and the prosecutor have been sort of on standby. Your hearing's set for 8. They may both be away from their desks. They're both on the feed. Let's wait for them to return.
Okay.
Deborah and Jordan, if you can hear me, Mr. Hoffman is here, and there's no reason why we can't start early. Welcome back, Jordan.
Thank you.
We're here with Mr. Kyle Hoffman, file 202262. Mr. Hoffman is charged on a ticket that alleges that on or about October 9th of 2020, he was operating while intoxicated with open intoxicants and refusing a preliminary breath test. Let me take a look at this and see if there was an amended complaint filed. I didn't find one. I don't have a complaint, so they can't charge high blood alcohol level on a ticket.
Your Honor, I received a copy of the complaint back when I received the file in October, and the complaint indicates it's been charged count 1, operating with a high blood alcohol content.
Well, that's what my note says, but I can't find the complaint.
I have it. I can send a copy.
All I have is the ticket.
Yeah, 10/21/2020. Prosecutor Johnson signed it.
Somehow it didn't get forwarded to the court. Let me see, unless it's in the civil infraction file. No, I don't have it. All right, well then let's proceed as though it's been filed. Let me see here. Here it is, I found it. It was in a third numbered file that didn't match the first two. Mr. Hoffman, you're charged with operating on Main Street in Centerville with a high blood alcohol level. And then the other charges are still on the ticket, I guess. Not sure how that is being done. One is open intox in a motor vehicle, and the other is refusing a preliminary breath test. Ms. Davis, what's the status here?
Your Honor, we would offer to dismiss the open intox if he pled to the high BAC.
And refusing a PBT?
I'm not sure if that already went up to the state or not. If it has not, we would dismiss that as well.
I don't think it has. All right, Mr. Hoffman, we discussed your case at sobriety court staffing, and I think that you could be appropriate for sobriety court, but it's not a foregone conclusion. There are some issues with your evaluation. You have a previous offense, I think, but it's quite old. And,
I believe 18 or 19 years.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect whether it's charged as a second or subsequent offense, but people that have a second offense are the ones we look at, second or subsequent, for potential sobriety court. You're going to lose your driver's license if you get convicted of this charge. If you're placed in a certified sobriety court program, which we have, and you comply with the terms of probation, I can get you a driver's license with an interlock device. That's one positive. Jordan, have you had a chance to discuss that with your client?
We've been talking about sobriety court since the last pretrial back in February. I know my client's been in communication with Autumn Kiefer at probation, and I've talked to Ms. Kiefer. My most recent update from her indicates that he's not eligible per his CMH assessment.
Yes, so that doesn't mean he's not eligible for the program. I don't need an expert to tell me there's an alcohol issue here with this high level of blood alcohol on a weeknight with a prior offense some past time, so I think I could make it happen. But that's not yet cast in stone. If the defendant enters a plea to any charge, I would not do the sentence here today. I'd set up for sentencing, screening and sentencing, and get more information before I did the sentence. What does he wish to do?
Well, Your Honor, he has reported to me, and he's been very good about keeping in contact with me. He has been attending Celebrate Recovery, as well as preparing to engage in a 12-step program with Pastor Jerry Solis. I know with COVID and financial restraints, there were issues with him getting an independent substance abuse assessment at my recommendation. However, he's been compliant with bond. It's my understanding that he wishes to explore sobriety court, but I guess I'll leave it to him today if he.
Well, all right, let's put it this way. If it's fine that you're not eligible for sobriety court for some reason, I would give you an opportunity to withdraw your plea.
Okay.
So let's discuss that. Other than that, did anyone promise you anything? And the fact that these other charges were being dismissed to get you to plead to this charge?
No, Your Honor.
Did anyone threaten you to try to get you to plead?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you plead to these charges, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
I do, Your Honor.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Ms. Yancey's actually been all over this, but you also would have had an opportunity to hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. That's absolute. You also have a right not to testify, and if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. You would have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to testify. And you would have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Were you driving a car here in Centerville on October 9th?
Yes, I was.
Where were you going?
I had just lost my job, so I was pretty much in a rut, and right there by the trailer park, I had some friends that I was going to go see.
You live out on Hoschel Road?
Correct.
You were coming from your house?
Yes.
All right. And did you come up Centerville Constantine Road or up M86?
Hoschel Road to Centerville Constantine, then the main.
All right. What were you drinking?
I had a few beers, and then I had Sailor Jerry's rum, which I had stopped drinking hard liquor for quite a bit of time, and yeah, that would definitely be the reason of my, yeah.
All right. Well, it's a one day at a time kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So now there's another issue here that he refused the preliminary breath test, and they had to do a search warrant for the blood draw, but I'm not sure he actually refused the test. So
I did the walking, and I really wasn't understanding at that moment about the preliminary. And then as soon as I said no, like I was unsure of what was going on at that time, it was instant cuffs. But I did agree to the blood test.
All right. Well, it's interesting because it says consented to blood draw. When people are very intoxicated, we expect them to make these complicated decisions about when and how to take an alcohol test. What was the blood alcohol level here, Deborah?
0.271. He also had THC in his system.
Well, it's not illegal to use marijuana anymore, but a blood alcohol level 2.5 times the legal limit plus marijuana spells not a good thing. In my discussions with you, you seemed to be a very thoughtful person, even way back in 2002. I was still prosecutor in 2002. And I think you're just the kind of person we're looking to get into our sobriety court program. We've got a really good group right now who are really changing their lives, and it's good to see each week. All right,
Yes,
I'm going to set this. Go ahead.
Oh, it was kind of a godsend too. Last Monday, I almost forgot to pick up the steak that I was going to buy for that night, and I walk into Bullseye Meat Market, and lo and behold, there's my pastor Jerry, who baptized me over 2 years ago. He told me that you guys have a pretty good relationship.
Yes, we do. Some of my people have been in his Celebrate group and done a very good job. They're still there. They're still they've graduated. And
Yes, when I went there Tuesday, it was really nice. I felt less nervous about doing the step myself. You know, I had a friend go with me, and just kind of shake off the nerves, and it was really pleasant.
Well, it's scary. You walk into a group of strangers talking about your innermost secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's part of the process.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you find a new job?
No, Your Honor. I've been looking. It's kind of difficult right now with my grandfather being the only licensed driver in the house, and I don't have a picture ID, which I did schedule an appointment, which is way in July 14th.
You can get one sooner if you do a next day appointment.
Oh, really?
I struggled myself. I had to renew my driver's license because I'm elderly on my birthday. And if you go in at 9 or at 1, and if you go a next day appointment, I did mine in Sturgis. You can go to Dowagiac or Coldwater, but I did mine in Sturgis. And I first made the mistake, I would log in and I would try to get the first appointment in the morning. I'd log in and try to get the 9 o'clock appointment. While I was doing it, it kicked me out. So instead, I went in and I started to log in for the 10:30 appointment or an 11 o'clock appointment. You can get a next day appointment if you don't try to get the very first spot. So go to the SOS website, look at how to do those things. Go in right exactly at 9 when the clock ticks, and then try to get a later morning appointment. Same thing for the afternoon. You can go in for a 1 o'clock. Don't try to get in right at 1 o'clock. Go for a 2 or 2:30. My guess is you could get in. You do Fridays for Monday, and for like today would be to tomorrow. But if you went in tomorrow, you would try to log in for Monday. Yeah, it's absurd right now how long you have to wait for routine appointments.
It is, Your Honor.
But there's a faster way to do it, and I encourage you to do it. Where were you born?
Garland, Texas, sir.
Well, I thought if you were born here, it'd be easy to get your birth certificate.
I do have my birth certificate, and I have a lot of other stuff. I just don't have a picture ID. I was fortunate to be able to do my taxes because I had done my taxes at H&R the previous year, so I kind of
What happened? You mean because the police took your photo ID?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, heaven forbid you get arrested right before you're supposed to fly on an airplane because they take your ID. All right, let's see if we can work on all these things. I'm working on a date. Jordan, are you available at 11 o'clock on April 28th? That's a Wednesday.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Alcohol addiction is a progressive, slippery slope that I think you were on. And
Yes, sir.
I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. And I will see you on the 28th. Our probation department will be in contact with you before then to get the screening set up.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would assume that would be Miss Kiefer.
Yes.
So that would be April 28th, 11 a.m.
Yes, and we'll send you that in writing.
Okay. And what were you saying about Miss Autumn Kiefer?
She'll be getting a hold of you. She will, or another agent, to do the screening.
Okay.
Kyle,
Now, would
I
that be
just
the
asked-
assessment? I'm sorry?
Sorry, Kyle,
Well,
I just asked if it'd be Miss Kiefer because you've been working with her.
Yes, it'll probably be her. And I'll dismiss the other two charges, but we're gonna need to work on that assessment. I don't always agree with the assessors.
Yeah, I was on the spot on the phone, and I figured it was something that I would be sitting down with somebody because you guys need a release, me to send a release, and I didn't know how that was going to happen.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Okay.
All right, you're free to go, Mr. Hoffman. I hope we can bring you into the program.
I do
think
too,
we-
Your Honor.
some success. All right, you're good to go, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you, Jordan.
Jordan, thank you for your help this afternoon. And I'll see you, I have a full landlord-tenant docket tomorrow.
Your Honor, I believe we're going to get my afternoon hearing resolved. I'm just waiting on a stip and order from opposing counsel.
Okay, good. Is that the one we had set for a trial? We had 2 trials late in the day.
No, I believe it was just a motion hearing.
Okay.
So once I get that, I thought I would have it by now, but once I get it, I'll send it over and let you know.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Jordan.
Hi, Debbie.
All right, Debbie, now we're in hurry up and wait mode until 4. So I think
A
I'll
long
just
time.
shut everything off here and log back in before 4 o'clock.
That's fine.
All right.